Pam, 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 pam. All right, so students, let's assume it is the D-Day, the day for your exam, and all along you have effectively prepared. You have looked at your syllabus to know the topics that you're supposed to study for, to prepare for. You also prepared a timetable that will help you effectively prepare for this particular exam. And now, on the D-Day, all these preparations are good, but much more importantly are the instruction sets that you're supposed to follow in doing your exam. So today we are going to run you through some critical instructions that you need to follow to ace your exam and come out with flying colors. And we're going to be looking at the marking scheme for one of the exams from Waec, particularly the mathematics 2020 exam. And so you can see here we are going to cover that, and that exam is going to be 2.5 hours. So you have this mandate before you that within 2.5 hours you want to attempt the questions that are expected of you, what you need to do, but there are instruction sets to follow, and that is what this video is going to be focusing on. And much more importantly, the marking scheme that will enable you to get your full marks without missing anyone. There are steps, there are instructions that you need to follow, and this video is going to prepare you for that. So let's just sit in, let's learn together, and I'll be back in a gimmick. Okay, so yeah, this is your question paper, and you're expected to write your surname, your other names, your index number or your exam number. And so we are going to follow with this instruction set on what to do. So let's look at this instruction. In the very first case, you should ensure that you read these instructions, okay? Before starting your exam, you will have some time between the time you are given this question paper and the time you are told to start. Now, I just want to point out a number of things. First, in addition to writing your name on the front page of your booklet, you should write your index number in the area provided at the top of the pages in the designated space index number. So that means that on each page of your answer booklet, make sure you also write your exam number, your index number, because I've had occasion to know about instances in which some people, they swap booklets, okay? They remove the cover page and just swap with another person. So even the exam is also trying to help you that such will not happen to you. So on each of the pages that are going to be writing, make sure you write your index number, okay? Then please write boldly and legibly in ink, either blue or black, and state your answers precisely. Students, if your writing is not too good, I want to just implore you, just develop a means in which you write clearly and legibly. You don't want a situation in which the examiner will be looking at what is this person writing. Such will just warrant you that you are going to lose quite a number of marks. So write boldly, write legibly, let it be bold for any reader to see, and then state your answers precisely. Now, as you attempt each question, make sure that you write the number of each question at the top of each page. So within the spaces that are provided, we are going to see that when we look at this particular question paper, there are some spaces that are provided. Just write your answers within that. Don't go outside of that. And again, much more importantly, please do not tear off any part of the question paper or the answer booklet. If you make some mistake, just cross it out, okay? Just cancel it out, but do not tear off. That is not different from examination malpractices, and will be graded as 0. So those are some instructions that I want to highlight, but you can just go through all in your exam. And then as we just move on to the question, look at this. Now, this is what I was saying initially. At the top of each page, you can see you have your index number where you can write your exam number, and then the question number that you're attempting. In this particular section of the mathematics paper, you are asked to answer all the questions, and you note that all the questions carry equal marks. But already you can see for this case, you are to answer this particular question 1A in this space that is provided. So for section A, you are not using your answer booklet, you are answering in your question paper. So you are going to submit both the question paper and the answer booklet. That is why you need to take note that this particular solution should be here. But for the section B, you will have another separate booklet and even graph sheet and construction sheet for mathematics in which you are expected to answer those questions. Now, this is a margin that is left for the examiner to grade you. So you are not expected to write in this margin. All your working should be between this space and this space, okay? That is what was provided, and you should just reflect everything within that space. So let's just take a look at a number of questions so that you can know how you will approach them, how you will answer them in the exam hall. Okay, it's not just that you just walk anyhow, you just write anything and you expect that you are going to get your answers. Okay, there are some guidelines with which Waec had already earmarked that this is the way we are going to grade, and I'm going to show you them now. Okay, now this is the exam scheme. You can see it's also for the general mathematics core paper 2, and it is for the year 2020. So this is the marking scheme that is going with this question paper. So if you are to look at it, I just also want to draw your attention to quite a number of stuff so that, see, there is no excuse for you not to make excellence. Following these guidelines, you can actually make your distinction and you can gain your admission and be the best that God has prepared you to be. Okay, so good. Now these are the general instructions that can help you, and the very first one of them is that marks are subdivided into methods. Okay, so the method marks are the ones you obtain by using the right method that you are expected to use. Okay, then there is the accuracy mark, in which they need to grade you that, okay, you got the answer correctly, you got it right or you got it wrong, and then you get your mark if you got it right. And then independent accuracy marks that are not preceded by the method, and that one is marked as B. So you will see M, A, and B as we are going to be looking at the marking scheme. So for the right method, that is a M mark that you are going to get. For accuracy, you are going to get A. Okay, not A as in decision, as in A for accuracy in the way that you approach the question. Then there are some that the mark that you'll be giving will not be dependent on the method that you use. Okay, so you may have used another method, but it's still acceptable, so you'll be given that mark, and that is graded as B. Okay, now there are some other things I just want to note, the very key concept that you need to understand. Now look at this option, this instruction 3. 2 marks are going to be deducted for you whenever you misread the data. If you do not answer any question to the given degree of accuracy, 1 mark will be reduced for you. Okay, then if you give a answer prematurely, 1 mark will also be deducted from you. So you should note that you should read your data appropriately. Don't misread what you are looking at. They are giving you, say, 100 as a particular data, and you are using 200. Of course, you have misread the data. Okay, if you are using an accuracy, maybe at the end of the question you are asked to approximate maybe to 2 decimal places, then you should know how to approximate to those 2 decimal places accurately. Okay, and then you don't just approximate prematurely. I make it a rule of thumb, students, whenever you are working, only get to the final answer before you approximate. So these are some of the things you need to take note to ensure that you get your full marks. Okay, so if you just want to move on, look at this. If you are working now, Waec is saying that you are going to get 0 results for any work that is indecipherable or it is wholly suppressed. Indecipherable means that you didn't show it clearly, they couldn't get what you are really writing, they couldn't get what you are really working, so definitely you are not going to get any mark for that. And then if you suppress what you are really doing, you have some means of hiding or shading it, then that will also not get you any result. Now if you omit any essential working, you are going to lose 1 mark. Okay, so you just need to take note of all this. In instruction set 6, you are told that for proofs, unless otherwise stated, you will lose a 1 mark for not stating the reason for which you are applying those proofs. So you are going to see examples in which we have worked some questions, particularly from this year 2020 mathematics, and you see how we stated all of these proofs as we are working along. Okay, then students, you don't work without putting in your units. You are going to lose 1 mark for the omission of units or for wrong units, but well, it will not be more than once, but you don't even want to lose any mark. Okay, so if you are working, maybe you are working in bearing and distances, and you are given distances in kilometer, and you are asked to find the distance between one point and the other, make sure you append the right unit as kilometer for that question. That will ensure that you get your full mark. Okay, so another point I would like you to just note is this. Now look at this instruction set 10. Candidates who fail to draw diagrams of questions that require diagrams must be scored 0, whether the solution is correct or not. So sometimes you are given some questions in which you are first asked to illustrate the question in a diagram. Now if you don't draw that diagram, even though you may get the working right, you may get the final answer right, you are going to be scored 0 because you do not show the required diagram. So please, whenever you are asked to draw a diagram, ensure that you draw the diagram and then your work will be done and dusted. So we're going to look at one example now, like in this particular case where we are coming from. So here in this question, we are told that if A is multiples of 2, B is a set of the multiples of 3, C is a set of the factors of 6, the three of them, they are subsets of the universal set, which is defined so that 1 is less than or equal to S, which is less than or equal to 10. We are to find A complement intersect B complement intersect C complement. Okay, this is the question. Now let's look at the marking scheme, and then we'll look at the way that we solve this question in DaveTuts Academy. Okay, here you can see this is the marking scheme, okay, particularly for Nigeria and Gambia, but it's going to apply to you from the whole of West Africa. Now this is the question number 1A. Okay, now look at what is being done. First, there is a mark for you to state each of these sets that was defined, like here the universal set, okay, the set A, okay, the set B and the set C, and you can see you are going to get marks for defining set A, B and C. Okay, that's not all. If you also state the complement of A, the complement of B and the complement of C, you're also going to get marks for stating those sets. You see, A complement, B complement and C complement. And then finally, you are now going to state the solution to A complement intersect B complement intersect C complement. Now, it is by doing all this that you are going to get your full 5 marks that was appended to this question. Now, let's look at the way we solved ours from DaveTuts Academy. Okay, so this is the solution that was snapped from the video that we have done. Access to that video is in the link below. You can watch it for you to effectively prepare for your exam. So look at this. This is the question. A is multiples of 2, B is multiples of 3, C is factors of 6. They are subset of the universal sets that we have read initially. And now look at this. This is the way we define our universal set, okay? And then we stated the set A, the set B and the set C. And we didn't stop there. You also need to state the set A complement, B complement and C complement. And you can see I'm marking this because these are the steps with which you get your final answer. And finally, we're able to state that A complement intersect B complement intersect C complement is 5,7. So this is the right approach, and I even showed it there. You can see 5 is common to the 3, 7 is common to the 3. So this is the solution. So it is steps like this that will actually apportion you the full marks that Waec is expecting you to get. And doing all this, you can see your distinction is just a matter of simplicity. You just seamlessly walk into excellence in your exam. Okay, so now let's take another question. Now this is a question on circle geometry, and we are given this diagram. We're told it's not drawn to scale, no problem. We're told that in the diagram, O is the center of the circle, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, line BC is equal in length to CD, and angle BCD, this angle here is equal to 108 degrees. Our mandate is to find angle CD. Now this is a question, okay, and let's look at what is expected of us to take stepwise so that we can get our full mark. Now in the first case, we are told that okay, you can represent the angle with a particular alphabet, and then after doing that, you will see that A plus 108 that was given is 180 degrees, and then for that you are going to get a mark. You can see here this is going to apportion you a mark, okay, then you get A, no problem. For the accuracy that A is 36, you also get a mark here, A1 for 36. Then you also state that the angle BDE is equal to 90 degrees, and you also get a mark for that. And then the angle that you are looking for, CDE, is actually 90 plus 36, so you get a mark for adding. And then finally, for your final answer, you get 126. Now let's look at how we did this at DaveTuts Academy. Okay, so here this is question number 3. Let's just go to question 3. Okay, good. This is question 3, and you can see from what we are being asked. First, we look at the diagram and we represented with X. Okay, then we can see that 108 plus S plus S is 180, just like it was stated there. You can see A plus 108 is 180. And this is what I want you to notice. Why? It is because they are the sum of angles of a triangle. You can see this. We stated that the reason we are adding 108 plus X is equal to 180 is because they are the sum of angles of a triangle. Doing this, you are going to get your full mark. And then of course we got X to be 36 degrees. Okay, now that is not only all. Angle BDE, this angle BDE here, this one is actually 90 degrees, and we also stated the reason why, because it is the angle subtended by the diameter of a circle at the circumference. So for this, there is also a mark apportioned to that. And then finally, just as it was stated in the marking scheme, the angle CDE that we are looking for, CDE, is the sum of angle BDE, the 90 that we just got, and angle CDB, that was X, okay, and that is 90 plus 36, and that will give us 126. And you can see that exactly what is expected of us from the marking scheme was what was used to solve our question, and with this, your full mark is just given correctly, okay. Now I want to look at a question that involved a diagram in which you students, you yourself, you will draw the diagram. Okay, graph. Okay, yes, we can just use graph before we get to that particular question. Look at this particular question on graph. We have to copy and complete the table of values for this particular equation. Y is 3 sine 2x. So we have to use the scale to draw the graph, and then use the graph to find the truth set. Look at what they say. We say to find the truth set. Okay, 3 sine 2x plus 2 is 0. 3 over 2 sine 2x is equal to 0.25. Let's look at how to do that from the marking scheme and then from DaveTuts Academy. Okay, so yeah, this is the question number 6. I think first we are asked to copy and complete the table of values. So now this is the table of values that we are asked to complete, and let's see how we did that. For each of that, you are going to get for each of the entries that you have, you are going to get a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are going to get marks for doing that. Okay, so you have 3 marks to get those values. Now if you look at our solution, question number 6, okay, yes, you can see here, this is the table of values. Okay, this is the table of values that we append us some of those full marks. Okay, and then for the graph, you also get 3 marks for getting your graph, and you can see this is the graph and it is appending you some marks. But I also want you to see this. I think students generally find this challenging whenever they are solving for this question. Now for the question that we're given that we need to solve for, we are given 3 sine 2x plus 2 is 0. You are expected to evaluate with respect to y. So eventually it was worked, and the solution was found that y is minus 2, and for the line y is minus 2, you are going to get some mark. And then for reading that, and then for the truth set, here this is the truth set that was obtained as 112 plus or minus 1.5 degrees. That's the margin for error. And look at what we did here. Okay, look at what we did here. So in short, this is interesting. They got 112, we got 111, because of course it's graph you're reading and co. And then you will see that we got y to be minus 2, just as it was defined in the page below. This is the working. Okay, yeah, this is the working here that is expected of us from the equation to get y is minus 2. And then here, this is actually the truth set from the graph. Okay, and then in the other way, we are also to get, for this equation, 3 over 2 sine 2x is equal to 0.25. You can get your y to be 0.5, and then the truth set will be both 4.5 and 84.5 with margin of 1.5 degrees error. So let's look at that again. You can see here we also worked it out, and we got y again to be 0.5. Okay, and then we also found the truth set to be, look at this, 5 plus or minus 1, then 84. That is very consistent with what we have. So doing this, your full mark is assured, and nobody will be able to deny you anything. You can see that all the solutions that were proffered, they were written legibly, very clearly. You can see it very boldly. Even the graph, you can read it very boldly. Okay, and the same you can also do in your exam, so that you can gain that academic excellence. All right, so initially I wanted to look for a question on involving diagram. Graph is one of them, but one that is not graph based. Okay, this is a question on bearing and distances, question number 9. Okay, you can see here this question number 9 that we're looking at. 2 cyclists X and Y leaving town Q at the same time. One is traveling at 5 kilometers per hour on a bearing of 49 degrees. The other 9 kilometers per hour on a bearing of 319 degrees from Q. Okay, so first, this is what I want to draw attention to. You have to illustrate the information in the diagram. Remember, in the rule, we were told that if you are being asked to illustrate the information in the diagram and you didn't include the diagram, then for the whole of this question, you are going to be scored 0. Okay, now let's look at the marking scheme. That is question number 9. Okay, question number 9, that's a graph. Okay, first we are asked to see the attached for the bearing for the diagram that was drawn, and I think that's in the next page. Good. Okay, this is the diagram that we're expected to also draw. Okay, and you can see the noted 49, 319 and 41. Okay, but look at what was stated in the marking scheme. See, students, these are things that you just need to take note of. You can see you are going to get marks for the diagram showing 49 degrees, 319 degrees or 41 degrees, and the relative positions of point X and point Y. That's what they're expecting from you as a student. And now let's look at how we solve that. Question number 9. Good. This is question number 9. And you can see this is a question, and very legibly, very clearly, you can see the diagram as it was shown. Okay, if you watch the video, you see the step on how to actually go about this. Is well explained, well detailed. There is no ambiguity about it. You just get it and get it clear. And you can see what we are asked to note. They said that you should note 319, 49 and 41, and you can see how they are explicitly shown in this particular diagram, and the relative position of X and Y. So this is point Q, this is X, this is Y, and with this you're on the way to success. Okay, then looking at the marking scheme again, in solving for the questions here, we are to get a particular distance, and then for stating the Pythagoras theorem, okay, you can see you have a mark, you have some mark for stating the Pythagoras theorem. Then you are going to get 18 kilometers or 10 kilometers, which would have been identified initially. So here you can see 18 and 10 kilometers, and look at the way we solve that. Now that's the very first step, that after 2 hours the distance of X is going to be the speed multiplied by the time, and that will give 10 kilometers, and for Y is going to be 9 multiplied by 2, that's 18 kilometers. So again, here you have your full mark, here already you have some mark, here you also have some full mark. And using the Pythagoras theorem, you can also see Pythagoras theorem is stated like this, and then we also got the distance Q between X and Y to be 21 kilometers. And look at the marking scheme, you can see that is also stated there, that you also have a mark for accuracy for 21 kilometers. Students, I cannot emphasize enough why you need to actually follow these steps. And at DaveTuts Academy, these are the things that we do to ensure that, see, it's not just about solving questions. We in-depthly explain for you to get a good grasp of the understanding, but not just understanding, you also need to know how to present this understanding that you would have already gained by watching our videos. So watching those videos will effectively keep you for excellence, and it will take you to that point, that position where we are trusting that God will take you to in life. Okay, so moving on with the question again, we are also asked to, let's look at the question that, okay, we are also to draw the diagram, which is done. We are to find the distance between cyclist S and Y. Okay, then the bearing of cyclist S from Y. Okay, that is being done here. The bearing of the cyclist S from Y. Look at what they are telling us now. Now they are using tan to get one of the angles, and here what did you use? Okay, we also use tan. Okay, you can see, but initially we also stated that, see, for the sum of angles on a straight line, you can see that the theta, this particular theta at this point Y, theta, okay, plus the angle XYQ, this angle here, okay, plus 41, the angles on a straight line. And if I'm the examiner, definitely I'm going to consider that, yes, you know what you are talking about. Okay, that's why you're able to actually state this explicitly. And then you got the angle here to be 29, and then just like the exam scheme is saying, look at this, this is actually the statement of that angle on a straight line. Okay, and for each step you also get some mass, and then you got the angle to be 109.94 degrees. Very good, very interesting, 109.94 degrees. But in bearing and distances, actually you express bearings in 3 digits, and I think even in the question we are just asked to find the bearing. The bearing is not going to be a decimal place. So if you stop here, you are not going to get your full mark. Okay, you should actually approximate, and it is a whole number that you use to express a bearing. So that is why for 110 degrees you get the mark for 110, not for 109. Okay, so with that you will just get your full mark. And then finally the average speed is just distance over time. Okay, and then this is expressed correctly. And looking at, yes, you can see the speed is expressed as distance over time, and then that average speed is 5.5 5.15 kilometers, and here is 5.15 kilometers. You can see, students, how this is quite interesting, how it's very good for you to actually use to prepare for your exam. But knowing all this is what will really help you, not just by saying I've read, I've studied, I've worked. The methodology, the way you go about it, is also very, very crucial. Okay, let me see if you can just pick one more question. Oh, this is beautiful. The cumulative frequency curve. Okay, maybe you can just take this cumulative frequency curve and construction, and we'll call it a day. Okay, so now in this question number 10, let's go to question number 10. So this question number 10. So here we're asked to construct the table for the distribution, the cumulative frequency table. We're asked to draw the cumulative frequency curve. Then we use the curve to find the median mark and the lowest mark for distinction. If 5% pass with distinction, but it is to 1 decimal place. Look at this. This was explicitly stated. It was even written in bold ink. So you should know that your answer should be to 1 decimal place. So in the marking scheme, the student is going to get, for any 2 correct cumulative frequencies, the student will get some mark. But for this whole table, you definitely get 4 marks. And looking at what we did, okay, yes, you can see this is also the table, and drawing that already, some marks are apportioned to you appropriately. Okay, then from the question again, we are asked to construct the cumulative frequency curve. Here we are told to see the attached for the, so here this is the curve, and you can see here we have class boundary on the horizontal layer, and then we have cumulative frequency on the vertical layer. Okay, so in the same way, from DaveTuts Academy, you can see this, you have your cumulative frequency, you have your upper class boundary, and this is the curve. I think this is more clear than the one we are seeing in black and white. Okay, but let's look at the working. This is what, there are some things I just want to point out. So for the graph, you are going to get some mark. Okay, and then for using the upper class boundary, you are also going to get some mark. So using what you are asked to use, what is expected of you in constructing the cumulative frequency curve, will earn you some marks. But look at this. This is where I'm going. Now, from the question, we are asked to find the median mark correct to 1 decimal place, and then lowest mark for distinction if 5% passed with distinction. And now look at this. This is what they are expecting. That now from the curve median, you are going to get the 100th term, and then the mark will be 54.5 with a margin for error for the student as plus or minus 1. And look at what we did here. You can see we also stated, okay, that is the 100th term, that will be the median, and that will be 54.5 marks. And I'm also giving the margin for students to know, and you can see 54.5 and again 54.5. okay, it's just, you can see here on the graph, it's just very, very clear for you to see. And even if the examiner is seeing your work very neat like this, drawn effectively, of course, definitely you will get your full mark. And then that finally, that 5% are distinction, that means that 95% are the remainder, and then that 95 scaled to 200 will be the 198th term, and that mark will be 87.5. okay, and you can also see here it is 88, but of course we have the margin plus or minus 1, and 87.5 is within that scope, and that will give us our full mark. It is doing this that will allow you to get the full mark that is apportioned, and that is exactly what we are doing. Okay, finally, I just want to touch on construction. I don't generally advise students to construct, okay, but let me just touch on construction here. Okay, so in question number 13, the last question, okay, here in question 13, we have to use a ruler and a pair of compasses only to construct a triangle, the locus of points that are equidistant from the vertices of the triangle, and then using N, which is the point of intersection of the loci, to draw a circle to pass through points A, B, C. Now, that's the question. Look at the marking scheme. In question 13 here, we're asked to see the attached for this construction. So this is the construction that was shown, and here this is A, B, C, and then you can see the triangle and then the circle. I think the space is not enough to actually include. The circle was actually drawn like this. Okay, it was drawn just like that, and we did that in our question, and you will see it now. But much more importantly, this is what I want you to note: the grading for the mark. here you can see that. Okay, let me just go to us. Okay, now this is the sketch before construction, and this is the main construction. Let's look at what we have. We are told that, see, there should be a mark apportioned to anybody that got the length AB as 7.5, length AC as 13.5. So here you can see 7.5 AB, okay, 13.5 AC, okay. And that's not all. You also get accuracy mark for completing the triangle, and then the angle 120 degree also. So this is angle 120 degree, and then you can see the triangle in this thick blue, okay. So that's already earning me some of my marks. Then you also get marks for getting the locus L1 and locus L2 and the point of intersection N. So let's look at that. This is, you can see this is L1, this is L2, and this is the point of intersection N. All right, and then finally, for drawing the circle to pass through ABC, you're also going to get A1 for accuracy. Okay, so you can see, look at this circle, and it's passing through A, it's passing through B here, it's also passing through C. Okay, you see, so you can see in all that we have highlighted in this video that, see, even our solutions from DaveTuts Academy, our video tutorials, they are complying only with what is expected of you to know, the way you're also supposed to approach your questions, the steps you're supposed to take, the way you're supposed to input your diagram, input your approximations and everything, just with the aim of providing you with academic excellence. So just go ahead and study with us. Our aim, our plan is that I want you to prepare to be the best that God has prepared you to be, and gain academic excellence in your exams. We know it's going to be a step further in achieving that particular result. So if you are here to subscribe to the channel, I wonder what you've been waiting for. Resources are constantly being uploaded for you to prepare for excellence in your exam. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like our videos, leave comment for us. Those are feedbacks that we normally get to know that, yes, what we are doing is having impact in the life of somebody out there, is helping somebody to become a better person, is helping somebody to gain that excellence and prepare for that glorious future that God has prepared for him, and will be encouraged to do more as we see you gaining that particular excellence. It's DaveTuts Academy, and we hope this video has been wonderful. It has been useful for you. We hope you will find it useful in preparing for your exam, and until next time, God bless you.